Good evening, councilors. My name is Chet Clem, president of Lime Properties based in West Lebanon. I don't live in Lebanon. I live on the wrong side of the river where things are supposed to be more expensive. Two questions for the council. Earlier, there was a resolution to allocate another $100,000 in additional legal fees. There was talk about the city's wins, and I'm here to talk about the city's loss. How many taxpayer dollars has the City of Lebanon administration spent fighting against River Park in 2024? A project that the voters endorsed resoundingly and that would contribute to the tax base and help fund improvements in West Lev. Some of us evil developers are actually trying to be part of the solution after being called the problem by the planning department over and over. I know how much it has cost us to fight to protect our family business, to protect my father's legacy and project from these frivolous attempts to delay and discredit us. How many full-time firefighters worth of legal expenses did the Mulholland administration spend on foolhardy attempts to revoke our permits, only to have two New Hampshire Superior Court judges overrule the planning staff and planning board in issuing a preliminary injunction and temporary restraining order against the City of Lebanon last week? And to what possible end? I still do not understand why or what the possible motive is behind City Hall's actions. But we're going to find out. Even though the city has been sitting on our New Hampshire RSA 91A right to know request for 174 days, not turning over files as legally required and as promised to our attorney in the course of litigation. Question 2, was the City Council even aware of these efforts and expenditures? Did the city manager apprise the council that they were paying 2 city attorneys by the hour to fight against River Park this year? Or was this administration operating under sea level? Keeping this out of the eyes of the council. This council that just last year voted in support of the project to make our roads qualify for potential federal funding, to overturn past decisions of past planning staffs and councils against a project that would contribute to the tax base of West Lebanon and generate new tax revenue to pay for some of these improvements that are in this budget and last year's budget and the previous budget and the 10-year capital improvement project budget. Was the council aware that Lime Properties and XYZ Dairy spent April and May successfully appealing the planning department's actions to revoke our building permit to the Lebanon Building Code Board of Appeals? And a 4-1 vote that could have allowed us to proceed this year and put it to rest? Was the council aware that after the planning staff had their decision reversed, the staff elected to, in effect, sue itself, sue the city in June and appeal its own appeal board to the State Building Code Board of Appeals? When they told you that they won that, did they also tell you that the Attorney General's office directed us to file a municipal estoppel claim, given the unfairness of those actions from the planning staff? Was the council aware that the city was paying to defend itself against a municipal estoppel claim in New Hampshire Superior Court, and that the staff rejected numerous attempts to resolve the matter and instead spent 3 days of evidentiary hearings defending their failed decisions? Was the council aware that the staff and the planning board, after 4 hearings for a requested extension to make up for the delays we've suffered the past 2 years, wrote a decision that wasn't even read aloud or provided to the applicant in the public hearing in a 5-0 vote that was a death sentence for River Park, a decision that was subsequently overturned by the New Hampshire Superior Court? On a night where the council is faced with a lot of tough questions about spending and tax increases, is the council comfortable with how its administration is treating taxpayers? I think it's an important delineation between the administration and the council. You guys are being put into an impossible position. I wouldn't want to be in your seat this evening any more than I really want to be here missing my kids' bedtime tonight. Is this administration that put you in this position, the administration to get you out of it? I think that most people in Lebanon would prefer that the council allocate money to after-school programs, the pool, other pro-social programs, rather than spending six figures fighting one of its own taxpayers trying to build a beautiful project that would increase the tax base. And I'm leaving a copy of the decisive omnibus order in our favor for each member of the council.
So, but even like the same with Mr. Clem getting up and speaking, were you aware of all that was going on, that things got passed, and yet we're still fighting something that people passed?
No, we're not fighting something that people passed. We're talking about a building permit that expired. So it's a little bit different. I'm not going to get into this legal debate. It's not the place to do that. There's a little bit, he's got his version of the story that he provided to you. We have a different one.